Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone else in between. I'm Diamond Dust. Welcome back to another episode of Wireheads. We are here for episode 4. That's right. We haven't just been here for 3. We are now here for 4 episodes.
Technically
Finally.
5 if you count the Jay Gray special that we're still working on editing, or more appropriately, I am working on editing. I apologize for not having that one up yet, guys. It's been a busy fucking weekend and week, so
Yeah.
we do have that. It is being edited. It was a fantastic interview that you will all be able to see in the next day or two here. But we had a great interview with him.
Also, do make sure you tune in, because if you don't really care about the conversation, at least some important news has been dropped about some future content, like down the road. All right? Well, speaking of future content that's been happening down the road, we were having a discussion with Jay Gray, and we decided to bring up our predictions to Jay Gray about what was to come for April Fool's Day. And that's what today's discussion is. And I know the title of the DLC is different than what I have marked here, but honestly, VA 11 Hall A Valhalla is what everybody knows the Cyberpunk bartending game as. And that, in fact, is the DLC for April 1st of 2024.
So yeah,
It wasn't crypto.
Yeah.
It wasn't ELO.
All our hopes and dreams about ELO expansion 2 and cryptocurrency have died. I am sad.
I wouldn't say died.
Nope, they're dead, Diamond. They're fucking gone.
Well, maybe for April Fools, but I got a feeling, honestly, those two ideas alone would probably maybe come up in a later date even.
EX2 definitely could. I don't know about cryptocurrency. That's a very April Fool's type thing, but the EX2 could.
I don't know. I mean, maybe if we really see like another. Honestly, if we see like another like gear book come out, and we're gonna start talking more about money.
Yeah.
Possibility.
Could be. I mean, I always think like see, the thing is, like, I'm trying to conceive in my mind how you make cryptocurrency fun. It's not fun. Like, IRL, that shit isn't fun. So, like any of you crypto bros who are listening to this podcast understand, I used to mine. I used to do a very, very small amount of dabbling in the market. It did not, like, make me rich.
You just missed it.
I just missed it. You're right. I sold too early. I have fucking like the most fragile glass hands that you've ever seen. No, like literally, I do not foresee, for all the trade-offs cryptocurrency has, I don't foresee it. And so I think that there's definitely consideration for like the optics of like releasing something around that into the game that the company probably has to consider, but we'll see. That's what I think. April Fools for a crypto DLC would make sense, because that's kind of the achievements and loot boxes thing. It's that same kind of like wanton controversy that could be flipped on its head and turn into a ha ha hee hee, it's a joke. So we'll see how that pans out. Come next year, I could have my cryptocurrency dreams answered in Cyberpunk RED, but I'm not holding my breath. I'd much rather the ELO expansion, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And much like I discussed in a video I posted earlier this week, we will be talking about the Cyberpunk RED and Valhalla crossover, which, of course, Artalasaurian Games and Sukaban Games came together to produce. Mixing drinks and changing lives. For anybody who doesn't know what Valhalla is, I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but I've seen footage on it. It is a very colorful, very, very cozy cyberpunk bartending game where you take, where you are put in the shoes of a bartender, Jill Stingray. I'm trying to think, I think she's also known as Joe. But you are in her shoes, and literally just like all us other cyberpunks out there, she has the same objective as the rest of us, and that's to pay her $10,000 rent. Wait, $10,000 rent? Where is she staying that it's $10,000?
That would be like, that's equivalent to like a penthouse apartment, probably.
Woo.
I think I'll while you keep going, you roll on. I will look that up in the core rules real quick.
Yeah. So, how this is delivered, it is very much delivered in the same fashion as Danger Gal Dossier. And with Valhalla, they deliver it with the staff of the bar, plus the many strange patrons that show up here. And of course, they also answer the questions of what is Valhalla, and you are very much taking, place as a bartender. And if you have a chance to go play the game, go play the game. It's good. We will be dipping into it over on my channel here pretty soon, because I want to play it. It's just been on my list, and it's actually on the docket for April. It all just kind of lined up. The planets just lined up.
Yeah, I plan on covering it at some point in the future as well. But it definitely, I need to see what my content schedule for the month looks like. I did figure out the answer to your question, Diamond. So nothing rents for exactly 10 grand a month. But you have the upscale Conapt, which is closest at 7,500, or a luxury penthouse, which is 15,000. So it could be a very, very nice Conapt in a very nice part of the city, probably. That isn't a penthouse. Probably just that like last floor below penthouse level, right? Good view of the city. Probably in Little Europe somewhere, or Watson, because Watson's also really trendy right now. And the bar is kind of in Watson, or at the edge of it, so that would make some sense.
Well, they actually talk about this and like how to make it exist in the setting.
Yeah.
So Valhalla takes place in a dystopian city known as Glitch City. And of course, they made it very clear that this DLC is not canon to the rest of Red. This is literally that one episode that everybody's forgotten about. But honestly, I think it's great. I'm glad that Valhalla has found a place on the mean streets of Night City. Now, Glitch City is now known as a neighborhood that is kind of in a weird spot on the map. If any of you look at the Cyberpunk RED Night City map, there is a spot where Upper Marina, New Westbrook, and Watson Development all butt together, and it's having an identity crisis. Especially with the area being a DMZ between Tiger Claws, Maelstrom, and Street Queens being ran by a gang known as the Unicorns. And of course, everybody's favorite boss, Dana Zane, the Red Comet, is present. And she is a hardened boss. Yes, the boss of this bar, much like bosses of many other bars. Rogue. I mean, I would probably put Marianne Freeman and John Freeman at boss levels.
I could easily see them being boss. I don't know about John, but definitely Marianne, because John.
Well,
John wasn't really presented, at least not in the context that I've read him in. He seems like he's a little more infirm, but I could be wrong about that.
I'm more thinking like in the way that Fiona Hayes is considered boss level, not in the sense of combat, but he probably just is very overwhelmingly strong in his field of expertise.
Yeah, could be. I'm gonna look at Danger Gal Dossier really quick. Keep going.
So, in the matter of Dana, of course, Reputation 7, 60 hit points, and she also comes with a named weapon on top of all that. And, well, she is a rank 8 solo. Dana, of course, boss of the bar, and, there are rumors that float around that supposedly she also ran with Rogue and Morgan Blackhand during the Fourth Corporate War. And she is a abundance of rumors that medias could go chasing after. And they offer all sorts of story ideas out of this book, in here. Of course, you know, you have everybody's many different waifus in here. Alma Armas shows up here as a boss level netrunner at rank 6. And simply known as Titty Hacker to some. Very much, you know, high cool, very good looks, and really, really good tech. Oh, sorry.
Oh, jeez.
Sei Asagiri shows up here. The White Knight of Valhalla is present as well. And just to warn you, there are a lot of spoilers in here if you have not played Valhalla. Yes. I am reading through this. However, I'm one of those that, sure, you can put the spoiler in front of me, but I won't be able to make it click until we get there. We have a full body conversion, Dorothy Hayes, full body conversion Joy Toy, who comes with 2 very special pieces of cyberware. And those are on her hands. You guys need to have a look at it to come check it out. It takes the one-shot special and it makes it so much better. I love it. And of course, we have Jill as a lieutenant. And fun fact, bartenders are techs. They have field expertise and fab expertise. I honestly, like, when I've created a sheet for Marianne Freeman, she's also a tech. Then also we have Stella Hoshi as well. Bougie Cat, as some people know her in the community over there. Which, by the way, to those of you from the Valhalla community looking at this, please forgive me if I mispronounce something or if I get something wrong. I still have yet to play the game. But they also talk about how she is just naturally, well, a cat girl in this setting. She is a very, very rare instance of Biotechnica's mad science happening. There's also references to MaxTac in here as well, with one of these folks being involved with MaxTac. And then also, of course, you have other patrons and employees, which are given like very short blips and just what their role is and their rank. So of course you got Donovan D. Dawson, who is showing up as a media. Jamie is coming in as a hardened lieutenant as a solo. Kira Miki is showing up as a rank 7 rocker boy. Like, some of these folks don't even have full stat blocks. I'm pretty sure you can fill out stat blocks.
Right. That was something I was gonna comment on here. Is just that, like, they don't have any, like, well, they don't have much in the way of statistical, like, information for any of these, which is, like, a little weird to me, outside of, like, naming, like, they're supposed to be a mini boss and they're supposed to be this role, right? Or, like, they're a lieutenant in this role, which is very weird. Like, I have to admit, it's like, I don't know if I like that or don't like that they just kind of left it open-ended. But yeah, we'll just have to see, because, like, that's something where I could see that going both ways. Obviously, like, if you have a deep familiarity with, like, Valhalla, this probably makes some degree of sense that you would just then, like, make a, you know, educated guess and an educated sort of, like, attempt at, like, detailing the characters and defining, like, what kind of gear and equipment they've got. But, like, it is an odd choice, especially where we've got Robert at the very end, who's literally just a bunch of question marks.
I got a feeling it's just a situation where Robert is, well, less than Mook, where, I mean, it's very much generic NPC, And
Yeah.
Now, of course, there might be more secrets to be found. And honestly, I feel like this will be an interesting stream episode if we ever decide to, sit down and have a think on it. But the fact that they at least give us an idea of where they need to branch into, and then what we can do is we can always take a moment to look back in Danger Gala dossier and see a reflection of like what these different characters would be, and like we could stat them out ourselves, stat them out to fit our settings appropriately. Personally, I'm here for it.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like, I do believe that that'll be like probably the way that we go about that, but it's, again, it is a bit of an odd choice. But I'm also one of those people who it's like, if you're gonna tell me at least some of the statistics you want me to use for the character, like give me all of them, or don't give me any. Like I'm mixed on that, right? So it'll be interesting with this kind of being the first way that they've kind of introduced characters using that sort of templating, where they're like, this is their role rank, or like this is not the role rank, but their like mook combat rank, and then this is going to be their role rank that accompanies that, if they have one. That is an interesting thing, because the other really intriguing part of that is they give that to us, but unless you own Danger Gal dossier, you actually can't really use that.
Yeah.
Right? Because that information only really gives you access to anything stat-wise if you have Danger Gal dossier. So it'll be interesting. I'll be interested to see what the community thinks about that. Because I haven't looked at, because when this came out, I was up at my parents' house for the holiday, and it was one of those things where I didn't really get to see the immediate discourse around this, but it'll be interesting seeing how, I guess, that develops over time.
And as I look at this, though, I've noticed, though, that, like, for a lot of these folks, like, you have media and you have Rocker Boy, which, of course, those aren't... Well, so some things are impacted, actually, for media, where they need a stat block. But for, like, their believability checks, that's taken care of, and same for the Rocker Boy. But then you have Jamie with his Combat Awareness 4, and I got a feeling, once I dig in to Valhalla, I can find some more answers to that question.
Right. And there's like, and I know they give that spoiler warning kind of before they go through the profiles of all these characters, so I've like intentionally avoided reading too deeply into them. But my guess is that it's like a nod to the people who, like, if you've played the game and you've explored these routes, like, you'll know kind of what to equip them with, provided you have Danger Gal dossier and know what each role and kind of like difficulty rating of your various mooks and stuff are. You know what the budget is, you know what the stat budget is, skill budget, all that shit. I think you'll be able to make fairly educated guesses, because like I could think of like similar sort of cyberpunk games and stuff like that, like Ghost Runner or Runer or things like that, where if you were to like only give a very basic, like, this is what we imagine the character we're portraying from that property to be, at like a very top level, you'd be able to outfit them pretty quick if you knew anything about them.
Like, let alone for like streaming Chan, she's a rank 4 Rocker Boy.
Right.
If you look at like all the other rank 4 Rocker Boys, you look at each grouping, and you'll notice that there's usually a common factor between a lot of them. But that's going to be honestly for players to explore. And also, of course, one of the interesting people that I can't wait to meet in Valhalla is Taylor.
Yeah.
Just, I'm curious about Taylor.
It's very,
Which,
very handsome. They're a very handsome character.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're very handsome, very simple.
Absolutely gorgeous. Like if you guys haven't looked at the DLC, this is your call to action to look at it just so you can see the beauty that is Taylor.
Yeah, and you know they're a person of mystery. Honestly, that's really good.
I like it. It's beautiful. So,
Now,
yeah.
oh,
The next thing here, so this is kind of where the spoiler text kind of cuts off. We have a corporate profile, which is
and
very
I
interesting.
think they've shown up before actually.
They have in Black Crumb. I believe they've been in Black Crumb at least. Hold on. Let me look at my Black Crumb.
They are.
They are. Okay,
they are.
That's what I thought.
I am confident.
Let me see.
Yeah, there they are. There they are. Yep. Producer of the amazing inventions like the Drink Master 3000, the Drink Master 5000, and various ingredients to help make artificial alcohol. We bring to you Hammered Industries, which, you know, kind of thinking about this, if Hammered Industries was like supposed to be a teaser for something that was to come later down the road, well played. That was a very, but I don't know. I think it was just more of convenience.
Yeah, the thing I thought was pretty funny is that the number of employees they have is exactly 420. If you think we don't see what you're doing here, Jay, you can, you know, we understand. We get it. The joke is funny.
And they are a Canadian company that has gone on to create basically artificial alcohol to, well, you know, make things better for them. Actually, now I'm trying to remember. All right, I'm starting to have a stroke. Did I read Drink Master 5000 in here?
You did. It is on the very next page after that profile, down on the left.
Okay, all right. I'm not having a stroke. All right,
You're
sounds
not.
good. All right,
No.
it's just like that, but just to think though that because Petrochem and Savoil and everyone else was fighting for the grain, these guys decided, you know, we still need to get wasted during the time of the Red. How are we going to do it? R&D. I wonder how many people died in the name of alcohol for Hammered Industries.
I could tell you that when the real life prohibition happened, there were a lot of people that died because the government thought poisoning the alcohol supply was an appropriate answer to the problem. So, like, you know, corporate greed being what it is, it wouldn't shock me if on accident some of that happened, given that it sounds like they've mainly been relying on chemical synthesis to get the intended effect of drinks and things.
But yes, and also the surprisingly, this little tiny corp of 420 employees is on Biotechnica's good side. Because apparently this is like stepping on the toes of Biotechnica, but Biotechnica has allowed them to go on.
Yeah, that surprised me a little bit, because it's like, you mean this whole, like, the whole company is based on like liberated text from your company, and like you're the corporation that just kind of lets that stand. Like, I mean, props, but geez, that is a that's interesting. Yeah. You don't see that very often.
Well, Nicolo did, you know, end up with a large amount of the company's shares in exchange for the absolute audacity that Hammered Industries has.
Right. That's fair. So Lagaja is behind it, and therefore, yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Look, I'm pretty sure he enjoys a martini as much as the next person. So as long as everyone's happy, he's probably happy.
Right. Now, hey, I mean, people need to get wasted. That's all I'm saying, right? So, the interesting thing that we have here is there's a lot, like a surprising amount of new gear in this DLC. Like that I think was the most surprising part of this for me, because as someone who hasn't played Valhalla, I'm not gonna have the wow factor of like the characters and stuff, even though I'm always down to get new NPC stat blocks. I think that that's always useful no matter what context they're delivered in. Tech and gear, however, we've got finally rules for extreme biosculpting, which is wild, that you could just become an animal.
And also the animal behavior chip as well.
Right. Jesus Christ, just reading the
Does man become his own best friend?
These aren't questions we were prepared to answer, Diamond. Like, I know we were up at 3 a.m. this morning talking about, like, man, how do you define sentience in a machine? But I was not ready for that question. Man, does man become his own best friend? I don't know.
I suppose something that's like a neat little flavor cyberware that we do have is Dynalar comes back once again with the professional cyber hands, where very much more you have like 3 different like terminals you have to keep track of. Well, why not just operate them all from like just the touch of a virtual keyboard? And well, I think it's absolutely neat.
Sure, because let me see, how does this carpal tunnel, but they're wireless? Oh, because they can actually detach from your goddamn hands and then just wirelessly be controlled. That's pretty wild. Holy shit. So you literally have the hand just like just go and start typing shit. That is
Yeah, you just kick back and while you're typing, you just see your hands just doing it like what looks like a fucking skit out of Looney Tunes.
Yeah, right. Get Master Hand out of Super Smash Brothers. Jesus Christ, that is interesting.
It's like but at the same time, it's like, well, I like these little pieces of cyberware where it's just like they don't have any use in combat. They don't really have any other use outside of a few little things.
Right. I think the most interesting facet of this is that it can be still like, this doesn't require a cyber arm. It just requires you could be the only piece of cyberware in a meat arm for this.
Hold on a minute. They increase your typing and console interaction speed by 50%.
Right. So that's where I'm like, so if you're a tech,
Netrunners.
And the thing Netrunner 2 potentially, but the first thought I had, because typically that's like the domain of techs, where like if you are trying to fire up something that normally is attached to a control node in a network, generally there's like an override time that you need as a tech to get it running. This could potentially cut that override time in half, which would be very interesting.
And then, of course, we have 2 lovely things from Hammered Industries. We have the Drinkmaster 5000, which is an upgrade from the Drinkmaster 3000. Oh. All the drugs and alcohol and beverages you want.
Let me see. So, because Prepper Jack just brought up an interesting point. Says, I thought it was meant to not detach your arm, just allow you to do things remotely with certain upgraded equipment. So reading,
I think that's...
So let me read the rules text, because like, because I'm interpreting again. I've done this before, where I've misinterpreted rules that I've been reading. So the thing says cyberarm option. This is essentially a standard cyber hand capable of wirelessly interacting more efficiently with the controls of specially upgraded electronic devices, allowing for remote typing, cursor movement, and so forth. The user still must be within touching distance of the device in question.
Yeah, Prepper, I think that's correct.
So okay, so they're like you wave your hand at it and it does the things you want it to do rather than it being like you have to touch it. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's interesting. I'm like, now I really want to play Valhalla to understand like what the heck does that even like, what does it mean? The numbers, Mason, what do they mean? Yeah, strange use cases there. That's where I'm like, it makes sense if you could have like it like pop off your wrist and like just scramble over to your console or whatever and do stuff. That makes more sense to me somehow. To have it just be like, okay, I'm gonna hover my hands in touching distance, but I'm still gonna be like, ooh, look at my wizardy hands. That seems like, I agree. I like any cyberware that's like, this is more for flavor than it is for anything else. And in that sense, we get a little of the like, it brings to mind the must-have cyberware DLC that we got a couple years back. But like, at the same time, I'm like, what do I use that for?
Well, seeing like that 50%, like I'd imagine like narratively, maybe it just cuts down on how much time it takes you to look up information or you know, write down code for a virus. I
mean, but those aren't consoles. Those are all neural interface.
Oh.
So that doesn't really help your net running. It just is like, because your net running is all happening through your neural processor. So like,
that's true.
So like, that's where I'm like, if anything, this could help text. It could be considered situationally a +1 or something to like certain types of actions requiring a console. But the other stipulation that Cyborg here gives is that it needs to be specially upgraded to allow for that kind of interface. So
you could probably smell this happening in Ziggurat. Like,
oh,
some of those secretaries, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
dancing in the air, doing shit with their hands. Yeah, Ziggurat would have shit like this. That's where I'm just like, the common use case for average edge runner is like less obvious, I'll say.
This feels like execware is what it feels like.
I could agree with that.
Exec or techware.
I could agree with that.
Now, something that Cold Spider, who plays Roy the Rocker Boy, just our absolute party animal had mentioned. He wants the Hammered Industries Cyber Liver. Now, I think this is a fantastic piece of cyberware. It is just to enhance your liver. It's not to replace it. However, it only gives you a +6 bonus to resist drugs and torture when you're drinking alcohol or smash or other alcohol mimicking substances.
Right. Like, and I mean, the price is right for it, and the humanity loss is pretty small too. Like, you're rolling a D3 humanity loss basically, and it's only 100 eddies, meaning you could always find one of these. So that's pretty wild. And I think cyber organs like this were pretty common in 2020. Because I remember Second Heart and stuff like that were based on cyberware from that edition from like the various Chromebooks and things like that. So this kind of lives up to that legacy, I suppose you could say. So in that regard, I love it. +6 is really powerful too, even though it's only like to a narrow band. Like, that's an insanely powerful plus.
In this case, if you have toxin binders and you have the cyber liver, if you drink alcohol, you use the cyber liver. If you get hit with poison, you use your toxin binders.
Right.
Because it's a one or the other situation.
Right.
And then we've got the Rockland Augmentix Miro 113 gun hands.
Let's go.
Oh, I saw this and I just thought this was nuts. Like, oh, I think this is so cool.
This is a neat one. Yeah, medium pistol with 5 shots, 1 per finger. That's pretty sick. I kind of dig it. It is a small shame that it's a medium pistol, but I bet you could get a tech to upgrade that to be heavy, which would be just kind of nutty, honestly.
Yeah, and it does still feel like this is probably just very much more or if only your thumb was the hammer. Oh gosh.
Yeah, blam, 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 yeah. But see, your thumb is an extra bullet, so actually you're just like pointing it out like you're knife handing them and then firing the gun. Which is hilarious, actually. But yeah, it's cool. I dig it.
And then we also have an app. Like which honestly, man, if only this wasn't like right away there. But we have also an application for your agent known as Shining Finger, which basically, if you're looking for certain content for the certain hours of the night where you're alone and well, you just need to get some action right that way. This hooks to your this app basically gets adult content. It hooks up to your virtuality goggles, allows you to, well, interact with, you know, your favorite stars, and also it connects to other hardware such as the Mr. Stud or Midnight Lady.
Yes, or other devices of that nature.
Yes.
That is the way we'll be TOS safe with this. But yeah, basically, and it's a subscription too, by the way. It's $50 a month, in case that wasn't clear. This is not a one-time purchase. This is a subscription, like Trauma Team or anything else. So, I mean, you know, that's cool. Like, dig it. Dig that that's like, now like a thing in the setting. But yeah, it's interesting.
It adds that touch of morbid.
Jesus.
Or not morbid. It adds that touch of adult humor that Cyberpunk needs from time to time. And like literally on the description, app. It's a porn app. Use your imagination.
Yeah.
Now, I had a player bring this up. It's like, so, is method acting allowed? And I'm like, no. Please do not method act at my table.
Is method acting allowed? Jesus Christ. That's what a bold question to ask in a game like Cyberpunk.
I love their bravery, but no.
But no. Well, yeah, that's like words to any players out there who are like, hey, do you think a GM will let me like do weird shit at the table? I nearly guarantee you 100% of the time, like it is scientifically certain, 95% plus, that your GM will say, no, please do not do that. Because the reminder I would like to give all of you is that if you are flirting at the table with an NPC, you are indirectly flirting with your GM, and as a GM, I could say that that does not always make me feel great. It does not. Like, I'm a married man, and I don't need that confusion at the table.
Oh, gosh.
Like,
train wreck's gonna be...
See, that's the thing. Like, light flirting, fine. But once we delve into, like, the adult shit, that's where it gets really fucking weird. I don't. No.
Oh no, it's gonna be very much the playful banter of flirting. It's just like, do you just keep coming in here because you're getting hurt, or are you just happy to see me?
Right, exactly. That kind of shit is fine. Like, but again, there are lines. There's shades of that are like acceptable versus unacceptable. And I think that like if your GM is telling you like, hey, no, like, or you do not have like a close relationship with your GM in the way that they are like, you know, someone that has told you that it's safe to do that, please don't do that. We don't appreciate it. Or only do it with consent. Consent is so important with stuff like that. And if the GM tells you please stop, please stop.
Also,
yeah.
At long fucking last, we get a device that I've been waiting for a long time.
Ooh. Yeah.
The signal jammer. We
That's
get
fun.
jammers, guys. We get optical jammers and we get signal jammers. Which signal jammer, well, both of these are set on you. The signal jammer is a cyber audio suite that covers basically the same area as a shotgun centered on you. Basically a 3x3 square area. And anybody that tries to make any calls or use a radio to anything with a wireless signal has to take an electronic security check to pass it from ooh, or else it gets lost in the jam. And then the Vic jammer, you get a +2 to stealth checks against targets using digital optics for detection, such as observation cameras or cyber eyes.
Yeah. It's
Like,
pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Like, I'm just saying, like, just having jammers in general in this is like, because we see a well, I'm trying to think, because I thought there was an example of this tech in 77 at one point. No, I'm misremembering. It's in Tales of the Red Street Stories. There's a part of a scenario, I think, where where Rogue, you're meeting with Rogue at the start of one of the gigs, and she puts a jammer on the table that dampens sound leaving the booth, which is very interesting because we don't actually have stats for something like that, but with these we can kind of infer what they'd be, which is very cool. I really like that.
And then I'm not going to go through every single one of them. We
Why
have
not?
a section called the Dictionary. All right. Well, I'm not going to name off every ingredient, but get ready for an absolute machine gun of titles of drinks that can be made. Oh, you want to give me banter, but we still got a little bit before your section over there.
Oh good. Please educate me, Diamonds.
You know, I realized I forgot to start recording button. I can just pull my VOD. I'll just pull my VOD.
I could shoot you my half of the VOD. It's fine too.
Gosh dang it! I was doing so good too.
You were.
But you know, we got great drinks like Bad Touch, beer, Bleeding Jane. Definitely not Bloody Mary. Okay. We got Blue Fair. Oh, blue. Anyway, we have Frothy Water, Fringe Weaver, like all these great titles of drinks that came from.
We got Fluffy
Valhalla.
Dream. Fluffy Dream is a great one.
Gut Punch.
Hell yeah.
Cyberpunk. Fiber, that definitely seems to actually fall under, actually, let me take a look at Jill's character sheet here real quick. Let's see. Apparently she knows French. It looks like this is probably going to fall under we have science biochemistry. Very interesting, Jill. But yeah, I'd say mixology, or also I think basic tech to run the machines that you need to make it happen.
Let me check if it's in black chrome, because let's see.
Yeah, good question.
I mean, it's tech. So basic tech. Basic tech is what I've had my drug tech that died on Monday roll for anything he was making. So I'd assume that basic tech would probably be what I'd use to govern this as well, because it's technically just operating technology, and none of the other tech skills encompass it. Basic is your catch-all. You could, I guess, do science mixology if you really wanted the theory of it, but the science in the game is not an action skill, it's a knowledge skill. So it's more about like knowing the theory behind something, so you could use it to like complement a check to make something, but it's very likely going to be basic tech, or it's so simplistic that as long as you know your recipe, you could just put it together and ta-da, you have the thing, because the machine's really doing the mixing.
I'd imagine Cyberpunk that mixology could also be included, that if someone's trying to describe a drink to you, that you'd probably, through your time of knowing mixology, be able to pick up on what it might be.
Yeah, I would say that that's more where science mixology would come in, is like if they're describing flavor or sensation or something to you and they want a drink that captures that, or you know, brings those flavors out, whatever have you, right? That would be where science mixology or something akin to that might come into play. But yeah, that's where it gets a little funky. It definitely gets a little funky. But no, overall, there's a couple ways you could roll it. Obviously, anything we say on the podcast is our opinion. It's certainly not, you know, we aren't RTG. We don't speak for you or your table or your GM sense. Whatever makes the most sense to you makes, you know, sense for your table probably. But yeah, if it were me ruling it at my table, I'd probably be like basic tech to run the machine itself. If you were trying to mix something that's not one of the standard mixes though, that's where we maybe get into that science a little bit and see like, what do you know? Do you understand how to like maybe reconfigure things to make a old-fashioned but with some extra cherry flavor and not have the cherry completely overpower the drink? You know, like that is going to be more of a thing you have to kind of toy with, I think, in terms of it.
Yeah, and then finally, last but not least, we get a new newspaper here. There's the Augmented Eye, and we have a couple of articles in here that present possibilities of some great hooks for some upcoming stories. One of them being FBCs receiving mysterious messages. And woman marries body pillow. Nobody's actually surprised.
They teased this a long while back. They teased this shit. I'm not kidding. If you look at Black Chrome Plus, guys, Black Chrome Plus, they have body pillows for the major legends of the 2020s. And this shit was in it. It's so, oh my god. Just seeing that callback makes me laugh so hard. I'm like, that's so good. And literally the fucking like discuss, I can't believe I have to report on this. And that's part of the fucking article. I love it.
I feel like this stuff though could definitely be used as like plot as hooks for a plot. I'm not sure what you would do with that second one, but the first one, FBC's receiving mysterious messages, seems pretty good. The second one, I'm sure you could find something to do with that one.
That's our next like challenge, is making a gig on that. Like
on which one?
The second one.
All right, bet.
Bet. Be fun. All right. And then yeah, the very last thing in the DLC is a map of Valhalla, so you can see kind of what the bar looks like, that's honestly really cool. I feel like we don't get enough of these scenario or adventure DLCs that have enough. They don't have like a good map or anything associated with them. They're just like, yeah, this is the basic layout of the adventure and that's that, right? Which, fair, right? Like, I wouldn't expect cartography on every single DLC or anything, but like, We did get it for Red Chrome Cargo way back in the day. So seeing that a little more would be awesome, because I love it when we get it. Just because it lets me, like, it takes a little of the mental, like, effort out of me to, like, present that, right? Or to think, like, oh shit, I'm not presenting this accurately or whatever. So, yeah. Ultimately, I think DLC's a good one. I think I'll feel stronger about it once I played the game. Because, like, that's my only holdback on this right now is I don't get the subtext of the DLC because I've never interacted with the game.
And also, Solution Maps, the absolute mad lad they are, produced Valhalla. And oh my goodness, it's gorgeous.
Free
Jesus,
too, I believe, right? Their map
Yep.
is free, right? Yeah, it's insane. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, no, I'm excited. Like, it'll be fun to see GMs use this in their planning and in their game execution. I think it'll be a great time.
Which I do hope, though, like in regards to like the scenario cartography, we do get just a little bit more of that in the future as well. And it doesn't have to be for every little thing, but like it would be kind of nice to like get a real solid idea of what the afterlife looks like, or Metal Storm, or even the Totem Towns.
Right.
Like, see what they look like.
Like, there's a
during
lot
the
of
time of
really
Red.
really talented like community cartographers like Solution and Cybermaps that like have done quite a few. You know, like I believe both of them have at some point released an afterlife map based on 2077's afterlife. But yeah, it would be fun to get like more modern kind of maps of that during the time of the Red to understand if the layout was any different or not. Maybe it isn't, but I have to imagine that there has to be at least a subtle difference. But yeah. Any last thoughts on Valhalla?
Overall, I think it's a pretty solid DLC, especially because of the fact that this is, you know, us, a cyberpunk community, reaching out to another cyberpunk community and building those bridges. Like, the fact that we already had people coming over from the Valhalla fandom, just like, hey, we heard our favorite things in here. How do we play?
Yeah.
I literally had somebody sign up for one of my games because of Valhalla.
Right. Well, I know I'm going to be opening some slots on StartPlaying very soon to kind of address some of that sudden need. There's potential. I'm not going to say that this is a guarantee right now, but there's potential that I will have a second boot camp coming up here very soon. And I'm going to try and coordinate it with a couple of GMs so that way we can have some more slots available than I could provide alone last time. That way I don't have to burn myself out before the week's over, because goddamn, last time was a lot. So the goal is going to be to provide as many slots as I did last time, but that it won't be just me running the games. It'll be all me and like a few other GMs to kind of take over and run things, so that hopefully we can you know, take care of everyone.
Well, I think on that note, I don't know. I think I've reached like the end of what I have to say for this month's DLC. But again, big thank you to Artalasorian Games and Subakan Games for producing such a wonderful little DLC for one of my favorite games.
Yeah, the fact that Sukeban and Artal work together on this leaves me with a lot of hope that maybe we'll see other collaborations like this in the future. Especially given,
I would love to see that.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially given that we have such rich cyberpunk worlds that have kind of been developed in the last like decade or so. Like in the 2010s and even like the late 2000s, there are some like really great cyberpunk worlds that have been developed, and I feel like getting little crossovers here or there when they can happen is always good. I think that there's nothing wrong with that. So, but yeah, I'm excited to play around with this, see what I think about it, especially after I play the game. But all right, well then, if we're done with this topic, everyone, we are now going to go over to, if you're watching this later on YouTube, if you're here on Twitch, you're chilling with us already in one of our chats. If you're on Spotify, you're listening to this end to end, so you don't got to do anything special. But if you are listening to this on YouTube, because we post these to our channel separately, this will be going now over to my channel for the second half of this week's podcast. So we can talk about some other stuff.
Agents.
Yeah, we're gonna talk all about agents because we got 2 DLCs in a like week this month. So that's the beauty of April Fools. We usually get them like back to back, and now we have to wait till the end of May to get our next one. But that's okay. So with that in mind, we are gonna head over there here in just a moment. So if you're watching on YouTube, I will see you over there.